It's not even close. You know it. I know it. They know it. But you don't want to report it. Why? You'll have to explain that. Someday I'll explain it.
The fact is, news organizations, including CNN, repeatedly question China's numbers. The president is also mad at governors and public health experts because they keep saying they need more federal help with testing.
They don't want to use all of the capacity that we've created. We have tremendous capacity. Dr. Birx will be explaining that. They know that. The governors know that. The Democrat governors know that. They're the ones that are complaining.
Part of the president's anger is he simply bristles at accountability. Part of it is even business allies keep telling him testing is inadequate and the reopening will be slow. And part of it is we are 198 days from the election. His approval rating is slipping, and look at this from Gallup. Economic confidence is collapsing. Presidential historian Douglas Brinkley joins us now. Doug, I wanted to talk to you this Sunday because my job is to follow the day-to-day, the minute-to-minute, the every tweet, the every case count. You're trained to try to keep your head up at a higher look. What are we seeing in an American president right now, in your view, at this time of national and international crisis?
We see Donald Trump ill-prepared to be the leader of this wartime effort. I mean, yesterday, the Washington Post talked about he just reached the 18,000 falsehood mark, meaning lying that many times to the American people. So when you watch one of these briefings, you don't know what to believe, what not to believe. He's in high scapegoat mode. Yesterday was John Kerry's fault, and then Barack Obama, the World Health Organization, who's now trying to do work in sub-Saharan Africa and Central America and Latin America. Money's going to be cut because they're no good, and then the Democratic governors are no good, and people are trying to take your guns away from you in Virginia. He was all over the map. That wasn't leadership that I witnessed watching that very carefully. What I saw was a president who's in re-election mode, and the way he does that is to divide the country. And he, right now, when we should be trying to heal the country, there's an article Bill Clinton wrote today in the Oklahoman for the 25th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing, where 168 people died. And in it, Bill Clinton talks about an Oklahoma standard, which is unite after a crisis, kindness, honor, love, decency. And Trump is doing the opposite of the Oklahoma standard. He's scapegoating to try to help his reelection bid.
I remember that sad day very well. I also was at the White House on 9/11 on that day, and you see how presidents react to this one. One of the points you're making about unity is we have this remarkable moment where we can show you the protests around the country. Number one, there are protests. And look, protest is a cherished American right. However, when your state says you're supposed to be social distancing or wearing facial covering, these protests they're both an American great right, but also a violation in some of these states of the law. And I want just two of the governors here. This is Virginia and Washington State at open war with the President of the United States, whose tweets were encouraging these protests.
I, along with this staff, is fighting a biological war. I do not have time to involve myself in Twitter wars.
This is just grossly irresponsible. And it is dangerously bombastic because it inspires people to do dangerous things.
There's magic to the American Republic, 50 states and a national government. At this moment, we're also seeing kind of tension in the American Republic also.
Well, we definitely are. I mean, things are starting to come unglued, and the president seems unhinged. And so it is a crisis. But we do have to turn to our governors right now. I was thinking, as I was watching on CNN, Donald Trump yesterday, what a waste of time. He was trying to run a political rally and start dividing people of Michigan against each other and all that. And yet I would rather hear from Gavin Newsom and what's going on in California, or Mike DeWine in Ohio. History is going to show this was the great moment of governors taking real responsibility and finding ways to heal their state and open their states. I'm afraid that if the president were serious, he would already have created a pandemic production board like FDR did in World War II for wartime production, a way to streamline this. I mean, the whole story now is getting test, and nobody knows where the tests are. They've been promised, then they're not there. And so a lot of mixed messaging, gaslighting going on from this president. What all adds up to is Donald Trump doesn't have coronavirus, and he's roaring to beat Joe Biden, and he's going back to his playbook of finding ways to divide the nation.
Doug Brinkley, very much appreciate your perspective on this Sunday. Let's keep in touch as we watch how this all plays out. A long way to go before we know what history will eventually write about this. Doug, thanks very much. Up next for us, Joe Biden wins some giant endorsements and wrestles with how to campaign from home. And a quick look here at coronavirus.